I was so hopeful that a mixed race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. Mm-hmm. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Anna Kasparian called this embarrassing moment on The View. Let's take a look.
Was it though? All right, well, as you just watched, Bakari Sellers, David Axelrod, who had clarity before the election but seems to have lost that clarity after the election, Joy Reid, Sunny Hostin, they're all blaming Kamala Harris's loss on the character of the American electorate. And I think that's a big mistake.
Blaming the voters feels like an excuse. If the game plan isn't working, no amount of pointing will change the outcome.
Because when you do that, number one, it's bad analysis and it's incredibly lazy. But number two, it only works to shield or provide cover for the mistakes that the Democratic Party has been making.
She also pointed out the argument between Sunny Hostin and Alyssa Farah Griffin.
Why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms? And why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority of his community?
White women like being called uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters. But when you put people in these boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
Alyssa makes a solid point here. Voters care about their wallets, their safety, and their futures. Anna follows up with this point.
Also, I think it's worth noting that, there are some red states that attempted to ban abortion or severely restrict abortion, but the people in those states voted in favor of ballot initiatives to legalize abortion, to reverse the negative impact of the reversal of Roe v. Wade. So saying that people are voting against their best interests kind of doesn't make sense when it comes to the reproductive rights issue, because what was Kamala Harris supposed to do?
The fact that red states are voting for reproductive rights shows that voters aren't as one-dimensional as some make them out to be. The Democrats losing control of Congress changed the game entirely. Without a majority, even the best plans hit a dead end. She elaborates on this in her next point.
She was going, let's say she got elected. She would have come into office with a Senate controlled by Republicans. And I don't know, has it already been determined? Have Democrats lost the House?
Yeah, almost certainly.
Okay, so basically a Republican-controlled Congress. How the hell was she supposed to pass or codify reproductive rights on a national level? It wasn't gonna happen, and it wouldn't have happened if Democrats had control of the House or even a slim majority in the Senate.
This is a reality check. Even with the best intentions, the system itself can block progress. Blaming Kamala for something beyond her control doesn't seem fair. But it's also a reminder of how limited any president's power really is. She criticizes how Democrats address voter concerns.
I think what Alyssa Farah Griffin said there, and I never thought I would say this, but she's right. She's right. And I also think there's an issue with the way liberals feel free to just demonize white people in general, right? It turns people off. And if they're constantly told over and over again that they're the enemy, they're everything that's wrong with this country. If one party is telling them they're the bad guys and they're not wanted and they're the root of every problem in the country, do you think that part of the electorate's gonna vote for you?
Anna is being blunt, and she's not wrong. Constantly painting a group as the problem isn't a winning strategy. Her co-host, Cenk Uygur, provides a final breakdown of what went wrong.
Number one, you're misunderstanding why she lost. If you're thinking that she lost, not to say there's no racism or sexism against her, that's absurd. Of course there's some, right? But if you think that's the main reason that she lost, you've misdiagnosed the problem. The main reason she lost is because Democrats don't deliver and they run establishment campaigns and not populist campaigns. And this is so stark because there's only two people in the country among the politicians that have run as populists.
The main issue isn't just bias, but failure to meet voters' expectations. Running a campaign that doesn't inspire people will always fall short, regardless of the candidate.
One is a fake populist, Donald Trump. One's a real populist, that's Bernie Sanders, right? And both of them had miraculous runs. And the media acknowledges, oh my God, but we thought Bernie was a joke. We thought he was gonna get 1% against Hillary Clinton. He got 48%, nearly won the whole damn thing. And in 2020, he won the first 3 primary states. Oh my God, that's amazing, right? Donald Trump in this miraculous political comeback wins a second time. Those are the only 2 people that have ever run as populists in my lifetime for president.
He's not wrong, right? Bernie and Trump both made waves with populist ideas, even though they come from different sides of the political world. He goes on about how the media and elites can't seem to get that populism works if it's genuine.
Clearly, the American people are saying we don't like the elitism. And then here's a bunch of elites on television who are almost all millionaires telling you it's your fault and it's uneducated white women's fault. Okay, that leads to problem number 2, which is what Anna was talking about. If you keep insulting, by the way, not only some people, which they won't go free, but also the majority of people in this country. Do you think that's a good political strategy to say to 3/4 of the country that's white, you guys are the problem. It's your fault we lost. And it's your fault for being so uneducated and so white. I mean, that is the worst political strategy I've ever seen.
So he is calling out the elites for turning the blame on regular people, especially targeting certain demographics like white women, all while they're sitting pretty in their $1 million mansion. It doesn't exactly scream, we're in this together. He doesn't stop there.
A lot of the things they say isn't remotely true. Like in the beginning, Sonny Hostin was talking about, black woman and with a Jewish husband. I had this, like, wait, are you saying that like Jewish people can't do well in this country in politics? Jamie Raskin, one of the most popular figures in politics, and Josh Shapiro, an incredibly successful and popular governor in Pennsylvania. What are you guys talking about? It doesn't have anything to do with them being Jewish or black or anything like that. It has to do with the substance of their campaigns. But people on TV hate substance.
He is saying it's not about where the candidate comes from. It's about the real issues they support and whether they can make a difference. Anna makes a strong critique of lazy politics.
It's boring, lazy, dumb politics, okay? So could it be any black woman? Can it be Candace Owens? If Candace Owens is running for president, do we have to support her because we need to elect a black woman? Like, what does she stand for? What does she represent? Is she gonna serve the best interests for the electorate? Like, what are we talking about here?
Let's pause there for a second. Who cares about identity if the candidate has no clear vision or plans for change? It's all about what they are gonna do for people, not what they look like. She takes it a step further, talking about the shift in journalism and how that's impacted politics.
People want to see their quality of life increase, improve, and that hasn't been happening for a lot of Americans, and they're angry, okay? Yes, there's a level of wanting to retaliate against the establishment politicians, and Donald Trump is the perfect figure to utilize for that retaliation, and I think that there's a lot of that going on.
Anna's cutting through all the political nonsense here. People are pissed because they're not seeing any real change.
In the old days, you had those gumshoe journalists, and they had the pencil in the ear, and
the muckrakers.
And they'd go run after a story, and they challenged the powerful, and they were supposed to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable, right? That was the old slogan of journalism.
Yes.
Now they comfort the comfortable and afflict the afflicted.
100%.
Right, and so it's not just because they're rich. Almost everyone on television is a millionaire or a multimillionaire. So in one of the clips we showed you earlier in the show, Rachel Maddow's there. She's making $20 million a year, and I think she works 1 day a week.
The media is filled with millionaires who are out of touch with the struggles of everyday people. It's hard to take anyone seriously when they're that disconnected from reality. Speaking of being disconnected.
Even for the print guys that are not spectacularly wealthy. Anna's right, a lot of them went to Ivy League schools and really good schools, and I don't begrudge them that. I went to the same schools, but I know that we are in a certain bubble, and we have a certain point of view because of the groupthink of that bubble. So I try really hard to not be in that bubble and to see outside my point of view.
Yeah, plus you're not rich.
Yeah, plus I'm not rich, so that helps. Yeah.
That pretty much sums up the world of the media today. What do you think about their views on the media? Let us know in the comment section below.